In Romans 8, Paul writes that we are more than conquerors. What's important to notice is that that's verse 37, which comes after verse 35, where he asks, "Who shall separate us from the love of God? Shall trouble, hardship, persecution, famine, nakedness, danger, or sword? No, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loves us." That's to say, Jesus. Well, in these short clips, you'll hear of some modern-day heroes of the faith who have been through some horrific experiences, but have held on and are indeed more than conquerors.
My name is Freddy Tuyizere. Tuyizere means let us believe in him meaning God. Because I was privileged to be born in a Christian home, unfortunately, we were so poor. There was nothing at home. I did not get enough food. I was taken to school, but the nearest school was a 1.5 hour walk. I had to run every morning, and coming back home very tired, my mom had to warm my feet so that I can go back to school the following day. I got privileged to graduate primary school. We were 4 of us, and I was the first one, and I was sent to a nice Christian boarding school where I learned God's word and learned to pray. And that's when the calling for ministry became so clear to me. After that, I went to attend a teaching college, and I graduated in 1993, and a genocide started when I was in a big boarding school. And sadly, one night in that boarding school, somebody we never knew came and threw a grenade through the window in the boys' dorm. 8 of them were killed straight away. To find myself the following morning carrying dead bodies of these young men I loved so much, my heart became so heavy, and I had to find something else. I left the south of Burundi, coming to Bujumbura to work for Scripture Union, which had no money to pay me. For 3 years, I had nothing. It was so hard to find food, and there were times I could just spend a day just drinking 1 cup of tea, a piece of bread. I was malnourished, I had nothing, and I looked so bad. And I had to continue fasting willingly and unwillingly because I had nothing, and I had nobody to go to except God, and praying and trusting that one day things would change. At time came, I had to start this organization called Youth for Christ, really from nothing. I had not much. And I started picking up 1 orphan, 2, 3, building 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 schools. And now it's a whole movement of young people rising up to change Burundi. My clear vision is to raise up leaders who will transform Burundi and Africa for God's sake. And I'm so blessed to look back from nothing to where I am today. I can only thank God and see the great things ahead of me and ahead of Burundi. Yes, there is hope for this nation of ours.
There's so much that could be said about Freddy. I met him on day 1, literally my first day of arriving in Burundi in 1999, and we were put together. What I didn't realize is that he'd basically been starving for the last 3 years. He's incredibly thin. That was his period of learning to walk by faith and not by sight, having a hunk of bread on a Thursday, maybe a cup of tea on a Monday, and seeing God's hand providing, but really grim. And then God brought us together, and we bombed around the country preaching. A number of times we could easily have been killed. I totally expected that we would get killed in ambushes, but we carried on going. He knew that we wouldn't die. He said, God's not going to let us die. There's too much in this country for us to do. Praise God, he's been proved right all these years later. But when I see a little kid walking on the side of the road in tattered clothes and no shoes, I think, that could be a future Freddy, because these decades later, he is now one of the biggest persons of influence in the country. He's got a massive leadership role, and he's raising up a new generation, and it's absolutely stunning. And so there's so much potential in any life fully surrendered to him that let's ourselves be laid hold of by God to accomplish his purposes.